Imports. Importing data. Administration makes it easy to import case data from a variety of file types. For files that contain both document and page data, you may import these at the same time or import separately. Performing overlays is possible and allows for easy updating of records. Before you import case data into administration, you need to understand the data you're importing so that imported fields can be correctly matched to the fields defined for the case. Consider the path information in your load file for images, native files, and/or extracted text. In administration, you can edit the path as part of the import. For images, you can also use a volume to make it easy to define the location of such files during import and to manage image file locations after import. A volume is a variable used to represent all or part of the path for an image or native file within a specific case. If you are importing data into an existing case, consider when you will do so. Depending on the size of the database, system capabilities, and other factors, importing data may interrupt reviewer actions and consume significant system resources and time. If you are importing large amounts of data, it's recommended you do so off hours to minimize the impact on the system for you and your users. For example, at the end of the day or on a weekend. Selecting the data source. Once you've located and selected the data file you'll be uploading into which client, you'll be faced with some selection options. If desired, replace the default job name with a name of your own choosing. This job is to be used in the import job history for the case. Enter the full path to the needed import file. To import multiple files at once, select any one of the files to be imported now. Select a sample of 1, 15, or 100 records. Review the initial lines in the import file to determine the next setting options. You will need to determine whether the first row in the import file contains column titles instead of data. Some file types, such as OPT, will automatically select this option. You will also need to verify the character set to be used. Common encodings are available for selection. Verify the delimiters used and the correct date formatting. This is also where you may locate and select additional files to be imported at the same time. To map fields, you may allow administration to match fields automatically with exact name recognition, manually map, or use a template from a previous ingestion. Next, you must select your import mode. Will you be appending or overlaying your data? Think of append as adding new data to your database, and overlay as adding metadata to an already existing control number or document within the database. Because the load files provided do not know the location you intended to keep your file stored, you must repath the image, text, or native paths provided in the data load file. Are you uploading multiple data load files into the case at the same time? You may want to save indexing until later in order to reduce the times between loading your files. The final option is whether you want to verify mapping and selections to ensure accuracies, or import if you have already verified your import settings. It's important that you validate your load file either manually or with assistance of administration to ensure proper ingestion. Once you've imported your load file and the process is complete, the last step is to complete a second validation process, or QC. You'll want to ensure all metadata fields and tagging, where applicable, was imported as you intended. Thank you for attending.